Between the two of them.
The inside of Coates.
Parker gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.
Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to Imola. Well, not really Imola, you're probably on a PC in a bedroom or a study, and it's probably cold and starting to rain outside. It is here in Croydon. My name is Richard John Neal. Delighted to be joined this evening by a driver making his co-commentary debut with us, Jack Sant, from currently in the Fiesta Junior Championship. Jack, hello, how are you?
I'm good, you?
Very good, thank you. We obviously hooked up on Fiesta Juniors, and we did a virtual podium for your first podium the other day from Donington Park, so we've had a little bit of a chance to chat together on stream. But are you looking forward to your commentary debut? And have you done it before? Have you done any karting comms or anything like that?
No, this is my first ever time doing a bit of commentary. So...
Nice one. We'll just enjoy it, and thank you very much for joining us. It's great that people do take the time to come and join us, and we'll catch up more with you as we go in through the course of the evening. But for those of you listening, I say Jack Sant races with the Fiesta Juniors. He's going to be with us a little bit later on in the campaign. Probably a good time when we're talking about later on in the campaign to have a look at the calendar that we've got. So we are round 5, so entering the second half of this campaign, and our racing is on the Imola layout. Next week it will be Becky back co-commentating with us because it's an American round. I'm not sure if that was by design or whether it's just by accident, but Road Atlanta next week. Then I get a week off. Actually, I'm travelling, so I'm actually working, so not really a week off. But 28th, we've got Jack Oliphant coming back, and he will be commentating with this Jack. So it's two Jacks, Jack Sant and Jack Oliphant on round 7. And the final round, I'll be back with Becky for Road America. Then I get another week off, which is the first week of the Legends Championship, which is going quite well in terms of people signing up, the Legends Scottish Official E-Series. And that's the 11th, so I'm getting ahead of myself. We ought to focus on BMW M4. So that is our calendar. We can have a look at the table, and we see that Jack Smith extended his championship lead last week. He was driver of the day as well. We'll come to that in a moment. Scott Bugner last week had an evening off, so Scott, I think, is in the server. He is on the server, so Scott back with us this week. Third position is Thomas Potter. I'm going to be giving Thomas some grief over the course of the evening, and you'll find out why a little bit later on. Andy Carroll, fourth in the standings from Rich Hayden, both of those having good, consistent seasons so far. Andy Dorman is next up. Andy, who I think has only had one finish outside the top 10 so far this year, so very consistent from him too. Having absolutely stinking luck most of the time, but still 7th in the table, is Lewis Stannard, double winner in the series. So Lewis, our reigning mini champion, and looking to climb up from 7th place in the table. Lee Pearcey, 8th, another consistent man on the podium, as is Jamie Page, who is 9th, the top 10 wrapped up with Ollie Smith, who joined us on the podium for race 1 last time out. 11th is Kat Potter. And then it's Oliver Gibson, followed by Alex Walker and Paul Laramie. Chris Blakey is next up. Let's have a quick look, see we've got Chris online today. I hope so. He's got a new race car. He is his 7th in the practice session at the moment. And I think he's got a new race car to replace his written off one, if I read social media correctly. 16th is John Jones from Caden Cook. Connor Potter, one of our drivers of the round a couple of weeks ago, Josh Martin, who I don't think is on the server today, which is a pity. And then Jack Dickerson in 20th. The rest of the runners in the championship will line up, or line up as far as the championship table goes as follows. Callum Enstone is in 21st. I'm sure Callum's on track for this one as well. John Wilkie next up from Scott Ferguson, and Kenny Press. Hopefully we will see Kenny. I owe Kenny a message as well on social media. So Kenny, if you're listening, I will be pinging that through. But they are our 25 runners, and out of those, we had these 3 picking up awards last week. Jack Smith was our overall winner last week. Always tempted to say last weekend, but of course it was Tuesday evening. Now, Jack, last time out, almost doing what he did at the first event at Spa, which was a double win, albeit in races 2 and 3. At Spa, he took races 1 and 2, and he did remind me that Spa was easier because he was off the front, having qualified on pole. But last week, an 8th and double first. Rich Hayden was 2nd in the points last week, and Rich picking up a 4th and a brace of 5ths. Then Andy Dorman, I mentioned Andy striking a little bit of form, 9th, 2nd and 4th last week, and driver of the round. Really had to go to Jack Smith with the 2 wins in 1 round, really getting back to form after his injury. You might remember he picked up an injury in karting the week before, or the weekend before. So Jack very much back to full form, extending his championship lead, and let's see what he can do this evening as we look forward to our latest round. As we said, 5th event of the campaign. We're at Imola, which is an anti-clockwise circuit as well, which you can see start line up towards the top right here on the graphic. And as ever, we've got a hot lap which we'll talk you through, and that is courtesy of our championship leader Jack Smith, and that'll be with you in just a moment. So here we are riding on board with Jack Smith, making it around through turn 1, heading down into the first of several complexes here at Imola, the Tamburello, turns 2, 3 and 4. And once we get out of turn 4, it's a run down to 5 and 6, which is the Villeneuve complex. We're on the run now, and you can see picturesque place, one very well worth visiting. So into the left-hander at turn 5, right-hander at turn 6, under the bridge, and then a short squirt down to turn 7, Tosa. So Jack turns in, grabs the apex there. Is that the corner where we're going to get all of the early shenanigans in the reverse grid racing? That remains to be seen. We climb uphill and through curve 8, under another gantry, up over the brow and heading into Peritello, which is turn 9, the left-hander, and then very slightly downhill, nice curve into Acqua Minerale, 11, 12 and 13. So let's just watch how we go through here. This is turn 12, coming up now into turn 13 under another gantry, a little bit of a straightaway before we get into turns 14 and 15. Again, climbing very slightly uphill, turning to the right, very quickly to the left, and then heading around curve 16. 17 and 18, 2 tricky ones, effectively 90-degree bends once we get there. So a little bit of a curve into turn 17 now. Make a great oval section this, I've got to be honest, being a driver or a commentator or fan from oval background, but we complete the second of those 90-degree bends on turn 18, and now we'll go around the right-hand curve. Curve 19 brings us back onto the main straight and across the line, and our championship leader completes his lap here at Imola, and his time 1:48.78. So that's how Jack Smith does it, and that's probably Jack's expertise, putting many a driver off joining the VRRC. I don't think my son-in-law back. Hopefully, we'll get a lot of new drivers joining for our Legends Championship and onward championships. I'm going to start off by, as we go into race 1, bringing Jack into the conversation. Jack, is Imola one you're familiar with, either as a spectator, fan, or indeed maybe on a sim?
I've done a few laps around Imola with Lewis Island, but it's just carnage when me and him get on the sim together. So we could never put a good lap in.
So yeah, just for the viewers, Lewis Islin is the current Fiesta Scholar, isn't he? So won that last year, and I think you two have got quite a good relationship in terms of giving each other a little bit of stick. So feel free to dive in and have a pop at Lewis. As we look at the grid, we've got Oliver Gibson on pole position, the pink, blue and white car. Alongside him, Jamie Page in the all purpley pink. And then on row 2, it is Cat Potter. So partial reverse, top 12 in the championship are reversed for this one. And we've got 52 seconds to go for the start. As I say, it is an unusual feel out of the ones that we've been on. I think the only anti-clockwise circuit that we're racing on. People are going, why does Richard always concern himself with that? I find it very, very odd when we get to an anti-clock. We lost the best one we had in the UK, which was Rockingham a few seasons ago, which is now a car park. We've got 30 seconds to go before the start of this one, but the grid looking in good shape as we're about to enter the second half of the season. Points, remember, it's the driver's worst round, worst event that is dropped, not 3 individual races, but the worst event that is dropped from the points tally. 14 seconds to go, and we'll see the lighting sequence commencing very, very shortly. It is up there, and we're getting ready for the first of 3 20-minute races this evening from Imola with the Virtual Reality Racing Club. Lights out. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. It's a great start then by Oliver Gibson. We'll find out if he can make the podium, what the story was last week. I don't think Jack told me. If he did, I must have missed it. It's Jamie Page in P2. A good bun fight going on for third position with Cat Potter and Scott Bugner. Scott Bugner's got up into third. Cat dropping back down past, behind Lee Piercy. Jamie Page goes off and on the dirt, and that gives Oliver Gibson a clean run. This is the point I was worried about in terms of things tightening up, Jack, and we'll get your comment on the start once they've cleared the Villeneuve section, turns 5 and 6, and down to Tosa corners. Chris Blakey gets a little bit squirrely, but all looks good to me at the moment. What do you think?
It looks good. Does look good. It looks clean. A lot cleaner than sim racing I've seen.
Yeah, we've got a good standard here. I'm probably going to put the kiss of death on it for races 2 and 3, but we have had a few shunts in the early stages of some of these races, but that was a pretty good one. We got a mix of real world drivers and sim drivers here, real world club racers I probably have to add, but some real good drivers, including Lee Piercy in the blue and white car, who's looking to make a move and go past Scott Bugner into third. Lee Piercy on an absolute flyer at the moment. Lewis Stannard, though, has come through into P2. So Lewis here down in 7th position in the championship, has got himself up into, so what would he have started this one? I think 5th or 6th on the grid, got himself up into P2. And now I'm rubbing my hands together because the top 2 are going to have a bit of a race. We've got Thomas Potter and Chris Blakey side by side there. Thomas making the move in the turquoise and black car. It's actually looking less turquoise on my screen. If I'm getting colours wrong, it's probably the colour settings on my monitor. So I apologise to any drivers where I'm calling that wrong. As Jack Smith looking to make his way through, dicing with Andy Dorman, but it's still Oliver Gibson out front. Now this is going to be intriguing, Jack, because we've got 2 really good drivers at the front of the field through Oliver Gibson, who's a championship and race winner with us, and Lewis Stannard. I can't remember the first time we've had a previous time where we've had, I think, Andy Carroll dropping back there with a moment on the gravel. Can't remember the first time, can't remember previously rather, whether we've had Oliver and Lewis racing together at the front. So this is one of the things that I was really looking forward to. If we had Scott Bugner into the mix now, back ahead of Lee Piercy, they're probably slowing each other up, actually, Scott and Lee. There they are at the front of that group, with Andy Dorman in the mix as well, as Oliver Gibson goes through, climbing uphill with Lewis Stannard in P2. But 3rd, 4th and 5th, with Jack Smith in 5th position at the moment. Jack now up into 4th, ahead of Scott Bugner, who's trying to work his way around the outside. Andy Dorman in the mix as well. All good, clean stuff so far, Jack. And how reminiscent of it is this of a Fiesta Junior race? Less carnage or about right?
Yeah, less carnage by a mile.
Yeah, you've retired now, haven't you? Because you wanted to keep your car spick and span for... Have you sold the car, by the way?
Not as just yet, but
okay.
It's hopefully gone. Hopefully.
All right, so you've got an interested party. I'm sure there'll be loads of people, particularly after the scholarship as well, which we've got in a fortnight's time. But we're riding on board with Jack Smith now. Scott Bugner immediately in front, and Jack trying to pick his way through bit by bit from 12th on the grid. And this has been good progress for him in the early stages. Kat Potter's just passed Rich Hayden, which Rich won't be very happy about. Kat's done really well here. Dropped back in the early stages, but again gets to the point where she starts to get into the race rhythm. And he's into 7th position, which I've got to say belies her championship table position. So it's Gibson up front from Stannard, gap back to Lee Pearcey, who was fought back into 3rd place from Jack Smith and Scott Bugner, who probably do well to work together and not let Lee Pearcey get away. But Pearcey really impressive in the early stages here. Lee 8th in the championship, so would have started in 5th on the grid in this one. Jamie Page is going as well. Is Jamie Page still going? Let's have a quick look down. Or am I getting pink cars muddled up? Probably am. As we continue to watch Kat Potter trying to close in on Rich Hayden, who's got back in front now. So the Seapot having a very good go at the moment. Paul Laramie in behind them. Then Caden Cook in 10th. 11th place at the moment is Alex Walker with Jamie Page 12th. Thomas Potter in 13th. Connor Potter 14th. So what's happened? Thomas, he's dropped back. Chris Blakey next up. And it all kicks off there. And wouldn't you know it, the youngster who has no luck at all, Lewis Stannard, down into 10th place. Now, Jack, did you catch what happened there? Because I was busy flicking down the timing screen.
Nothing much. By the looks of things, when I seen it, there was just 2 cars backwards when the camera got moved.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I normally get a ping from from Lewis's dad. Lewis having no luck in this. The good thing is, if you can call it a good thing, is that race 2 will be the top 12 positions from race 1 reversed. So Lewis could, if he doesn't work his way back through, find himself further down as Rich Hayden moves up past Scott Bugner up into 4th place. So Rich Hayden having a good steady race of this one. Scott Bugner 5th. Catherine Potter in 6th place ahead of Paul Laramie and Caden Cook from Lewis Stannard, who's already got past Thomas Potter. So Stannard not hanging about. That's a big scalp actually for Lewis to go past Thomas Potter on his recovery, and seemingly quite easily. So Thomas not perhaps having his best day. Normally we see Thomas up there on the point. He's third in the championship, a point behind Scott Bugner, who has a little bit of a moment. Catherine Potter goes past him. So Scott, but just talking about how well Scott Bugner's doing in the championship, he disappears away. All the shenanigans have left the 2 brothers, Gibson and Smith, out front 1 and 2, with Andy Dorman in P3 from Rich Hayden, Kat Potter 5th from Scott Bugner, Paul Laramie, who we are focusing on at the moment. There is Paul in the red and green car, busy chasing Scott Bugner. Caden Cook is in behind as well, with the Union flag atop of his BMW. And then Lewis Stannard in 9th. So Lewis not that far away, and it is Jamie Page in 10th position down behind him, the mysterious Jamie Page that we never get to talk to because he doesn't have a microphone, would you believe?
I've just got on this, don't worry, Richard. I nearly didn't make it either with Kills Baby going at the PC, but I didn't have a microphone for the PC, so I got it on my phone, so we should be fine. I can see everything still.
That's pretty good. Okay, so yeah, it's good that you're with us anyway, and that we don't generally, if people come and co-commentate, we just get the technical side sorted out by Rich before the event. As Lewis Stannard now closing in on Caden Cook for 8th place, so the battling going on there. Gibson and Smith at the front, the gap 5.6 seconds. You probably don't need me to tell you that because it's on the timing tower. But Lewis Stannard looking to fight his way back through, and it seems to be Lewis's life's work at the moment, making his way back through after either reverse grid shenanigans or being punted by people. But he is still scoring good points, Stannard, and he's 7th in the championship, only 5 behind Andy Dorman, but significantly Dorman ahead of him. And now I said Thomas Potter was an easy scout for him, and Potter's coming back at him here. They're side by side. Potter in the black and blue car on the outside gets his nose in front. So these two, and Lewis Stannard read that superbly well, sees the gap on the inside coming back at Potter, and they clash. Potter's off and rejoins. Jamie Page goes slicing through on the inside. That one, well, that will be looked at in the morning's judicials, but I'll tell you what, from what I was looking at, 6 to 1.5 dozen the other, really, and sometimes that's the way how things go. So Thomas in 9th, Lewis back down in 10th place, and maybe just some robust racing from the pair of them. So I was hoping we were going to get what we may still get podium interviews with Thomas or Lewis. Always great to catch up with them. But at the moment, the podium: Oliver Gibson, Jack Smith, and Andy Dorman. 12th at the moment is Connor Potter from Jamie Page. So Connor Potter on provisional pole for the reverse grid, and we're looking at Scott Bugler trying to close in on Kat Potter at the moment. Catherine Potter in 5th position, and again doing a really good job of scoring points here. Just to fill you in here, Jack, Kat is the older sister of Thomas Potter, who's going into Ginetta Junior next year, and Kat's relatively, well, a lot newer to sim racing than Thomas is, and we've been winding up the dad. In fact, I hasn't mentioned much on social media about it, but we were saying that Catherine's getting so good at sim race, he's going to have to buy a car for her to race as well.
To be fair with you, this racing, it's a lot more control. Like when I'm looking at the throttle inputs and the brake inputs, actually, I give them a lot of respect for what they do, because I'm not that smooth in the throttle or brake.
What, in the real world or on the sim, or both?
Both.
That's an interesting perspective. So it's good to get your input, you know, like that as a real world driver. And obviously this is different to a Fiesta Junior, but how did you find the Junior as a learning car for you guys?
Last year, it was a brilliant learning car. This year, it was just chaos, Richard. I'll be honest with you. It was chaos.
In what way?
The amount of people who would make a lunge, keep the car there, see that there's someone on the outside and just door them off, or think there's a gap, which there isn't, but go straight through the middle.
Yeah, Thomas found a gap there, didn't he?
Yeah.
As you were talking about that, yeah. Do you think is it a mentality that some of the youngsters bring in from karting with them? They don't really adapt to car racing. They're racing the cars like karts. Is that a thing, or
yes?
What do you reckon?
Yeah, because the amount of things that we got taught when we were younger in karts, it's completely different to car racing.
Yeah,
but it's very good, clean, professional racing that I am watching.
Yeah, they do a good job here. We've got some really good seasoned drivers in it. As I say, and a lot of newcomers will look at it and think, I don't really think I'd be any good at it. When they see the demonstration laps that Jack Smith does or Andy Carroll does for us, you know, they do look very good. And this race looks good as well. This is one of the better starts to a race that I've seen. The gap first to second, still Gibson from Smith 4.9. So Jack Smith closing up on his brother. Andy Dorman third from Rich Hayden in fourth. Kat Potter again doing a super job in 5th place. Jack, the other thing we need to think about, but we won't do on air, as Thomas Potter now looks at Paul Laramie to try and get up into 7th place, which he has done. So Thomas Potter on a little bit of a charge, but I was just about to say, I think Paul Laramie's going back. The other thing we need you to think about, and we'll probably do it on the Discord chat, is when we get into race 3, we have to pick a driver of the round. So it could be somebody at the sharp end, or somebody maybe that's pulling in a good result consistently, maybe from the back end, which might be newcomers. That's just a little flag to, I'll probably ping some suggestions, and Steve, our director, probably will as well in the chat, but we'd value your input into that as we go on. Where are we time wise? This has gone really quickly actually. We've only got 7 minutes to go, and Thomas Potter's worked his way into 7th. I don't know what problems he had earlier on, but Thomas has had a good recovery, and we're looking at Lewis Stannard in 10th place now, looking to try and get on terms with Caden Cook ahead of him and smoking the tyres. But the thing with the recovery drive here, Jack, is that we've got some really good drivers that if you drop down, really any one of the top 15 are capable of getting on the podium or winning in VRRC. So a recovery is never easy here.
That was a little bit of contact on braking.
Yeah, I think that was Lewis, wasn't it, that just pinged into the back of him. Lewis down to 11th now, so not done him any favours at the moment. But we go back. There is Lee. Now, Lee Piercy, I was building up in the early stages. And this is the danger of commentary, which you'll learn as you go. If you big somebody up, it usually leads to them falling down the order, as Lee Piercy did from 3rd position, wasn't he, earlier on in the race. But has managed to get himself back up into the top 10 after whatever went off. I think it was him and Lewis, wasn't it, had it coming together?
Yes.
Maybe it was Lee and Lewis that had the coming together and dropped back down the order. As we pick up on Scott Bugner closing down on Catherine Potter. Catherine doing a really, really good job here. Best result of Catherine's campaign and indeed VRRC career was 4th last time out. She's one shy of that at the moment, but I think we'll be happy with the top 6 here. Runs a little bit wide after clattering over the curb. And our real-world MG driver, Scott Bugner, makes a very neat pass and through on the inside. Scott up into 5th place. Good points for him. His last week will be the drop round for him. Wasn't here last weekend. Sugar. I said a weekend instead of last Tuesday, but never mind. But a good move from Scott Bugner there. Nice and clean. And he could be on his way to a 5th position here. But there's some way adrift of Rich Hayden, who is in 4th place, and Thomas Potter busy closing in on his sister here. So I think there's going to be some household bragging rights here with Thomas and Catherine. See who is going to do the best here. One question I have to ask you, Jack, is have you actually been out in a senior fiesta yet, or do you have to wait for your birthday as Thomas Potter goes side by side with Catherine?
I have to wait till after Christmas, I think.
Right, when do you turn 16?
I'm 16 now.
Oh, okay, so you could do it, but you've got to wait for the car.
Yeah.
Okay, and is that going to be a Christmas? So you saying wait until after Christmas? Is that a Christmas present in the car?
No. It's when the Croft opens back up again, because I don't know if I'll be able to get out on the track yet.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, we're looking forward to seeing you in the new car when it comes down. I'll tell you what, Thomas Potter's recovered quickly here, isn't he? How do you think he's going to deal with Scott Bugner ahead of him here?
I think if he just stays calm and collected and just pushes, I think he might be able to just get him on the brakes going into the next few corners.
We'll see what he can do. He's done a good job of picking everyone off, hasn't he, so far? And the Caterham car is now looking around the outside. This either goes for a move around the outside or a cutback on the inside of the next corner. There isn't quite room. A little bit of a clatter there. That would have cost a few quid in Fiestas, wouldn't it, on body panels?
Oh yeah. Fiesta Junior is like destroying body panels.
Fiestas, we were doing the stats actually. Esther Crook won't thank me for this, but Fiestas are the one with the most retirements at the moment out of all 3 junior formulae that go on at the moment. The Janettas were very well behaved this year, but yeah, Fiestas do seem to have a little bit more. Somebody did counter that by saying that there are bigger numbers. So you know, for the likes of yourself racing in Fiesta and getting a podium in the best supported junior championship must have been a mega result for you.
I was absolutely over the moon with getting that podium. But it was a tough race. Everything was down to braking and just staying calm and just watch the track. I couldn't really watch anyone from my left mirror because that was folded in. But it was just sit there, like, hold the steering wheel and just chill. As much as you can chill, just chill.
Yeah. Oh, you drove superbly because it was you were a long way back on the grid and you cut your way through so well. And it's interesting what you're saying about, you know, chilling and letting the race come to you. I've heard many a coach say that. And have you had coaches say that to you as well?
Yes, I've had Josh Cook and Jade Edwards say that to me. Just let the race progress how it's going to progress and let it come to you.
That's really good. That's what Thomas Potter's hoping for at the moment. He's all over. This is good stuff actually from Scott and Thomas here. Having a really good race, and Scott's racing hard. He'll be dropping back on Rich Hayden, who is in 4th place, but he's defending well. Cat Potter's getting a little bit closer again to these two. Got 2 minutes 13 remaining. And this has been really interesting to watch. A little mistake there, running a wee bit wide with Scott Bugner. And is this going to allow Thomas Potter to close in and maybe get that 4th place? He is all over Scott. But if this goes the way of other battles that we've seen in VRRC the last couple of weeks, then my guess is that Thomas might squeeze through on the last lap. But look how Cat is closing in now. So if you're the car in the middle here, Jack, is the pressure you know, if your rear mirrors are folded in as they were on your Fiesta Junior, I'm guessing you're probably not looking behind you, but you're going to have some sort of awareness that because you're battling hard and it's slowing you up to some degree, that the car behind is closing up. How does that play on your mind?
What I've found out that works is push to the car in front of you to try and get a breakthrough, because you'll get the toe off the car in front of you, and instead of trying to make a lunge and cost yourself a tenth or two with the person you're fighting with, for their person behind you can attach a tenth or two, just push them. You'll gain a lot more speed down the straight, and you can just push away, and then last lap you can start squabbling for who gets a position.
Right. Yeah, makes a lot of sense, to be perfectly honest. And Thomas is trying to do that. Is he going to find a gap down the inside here and go for the lunge? He's too far back, gets close, doesn't make contact. Potter, it's Oliver Gibson still with the fastest lap. Oliver Gibson on for, I think, his first win of the campaign here, which is going to be great to see. And this has been a really good battle between these two. This is the kind of thing that marks drivers out for driver of the round, and it could be Scott Bugner, it could be Thomas, for a good, clean, race-long battle that the pair of them are having here side by side. How is this going to pan out? Bugner knows he's got the inside run there. He's done his homework around this track. So too has Thomas Potter, but Bugner made a little mistake, runs wide. Thomas Potter's through. I reckon this is the last lap as well. And kind of as predicted, it comes down to the last lap. Here is Oliver Gibson, though, who's done a super job off the front. Not an easy thing to do to win a VRRC race off the front or really from anywhere. But he has done superbly well. So Oliver Gibson with Jack Smith closing in, and Oliver here, the gap now 2.5 seconds, and Oliver goes through and takes the race win. I was waiting for a checkered flag to come up on my timing screen, but it didn't do so. Let me see if I can refresh it and get that. Oh, it is up there now. So Oliver Gibson, well done, Ollie, takes the win. Jack Smith in P2. Then Andy Dorman completes the podium. So it'll be Oliver, Jack and Andy on the podium, who we'll talk to shortly. Other positions going to Rich Hayden in 4th, from Thomas Potter, who worked hard for that 5th place, ahead of Scott Bugner. Would have been sad if Scott had dropped back further, but he did recover for 6th position after his off. Cat Potter in 7th. Another grand result for Cat from Lee Pearson. Lewis Stannard did well to come in 9th place from Paul Laramie. Connor Potter 11th, so Connor improving again, our Scottish racer doing well. From Jamie Page and Caden Cook 13th, Chris Blakey, Kenny Press next up. Kenny did make it along tonight. Then Alex Walker, Callum Enstone and Andy Carroll down in 18th from John Jones. John Wilkie in 20th from Jack Dickerson and Scott Ferguson 22nd. A great field. Thank you everyone for coming along and entertaining us. And we'll have a word with our top 3 in just a moment.
I've had a lot of challenges in my life, and Helen was always there, supporting me through everything. Today, we're facing a new challenge. Helen has been diagnosed with a terrible disease. Dementia is nothing less than a worldwide epidemic. Formula One moves fast. By contrast, medical research can be painfully slow. We want to bring some of our Formula One technology into the laboratories. Our charity, Race Against Dementia, will help to accelerate the pace of dementia research. Let's beat dementia together.
And just like that, we finish our first race and first ad break of the evening, and we get on to our podium interview. 3rd position, very well done, Andy Dorman. Andy, how are you this evening?
I'm very good this evening. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking. Appreciate that. That was interesting. Did you happen to catch? Because I was looking at the timing screen. I think we had Lee Pearcey and Lewis Stannard had a coming together. I'm not sure if you saw that.
Yeah, well, I saw them both facing the wrong way next to each other, so I think they must have taken each other out by the looks of it.
And then I think they recovered sort of top just outside or just inside the top 10. But thank you for that. We'll get on to talking about your race. Another podium. So not too bad. I mean, 6th in the championship, not that far behind Rich Hayden in the championship standings, but significantly taking points away from Rich in that one. So decent start to the evening for you.
Yeah, it's been a really good start to the evening, and it was remarkably easy, just avoiding all the carnage in front of me. Sort of road just parted, and I managed to nip past everyone and ended up in third.
Yeah, it was a good amount of picking through, and I've got to say, I didn't see that much in terms of shenanigans, so they were good. You know, they wasn't just gaps opening up for you, were good passes that you made, because I thought the standard was probably better than some of the starts we've had in over the previous weeks.
Oh yeah, it seemed a lot better, but round here the AstroTurf and stuff really saps your speed, so if you run a little bit wide, the car behind can get a good run on you, which makes it really easy for overtaking if anyone makes a little mistake.
So you've got to keep it right on the tarmac then?
Yeah, and it's quite difficult at times because it just runs you only need to run a little bit wide and catch a little bit of grass, and it just saps the speed and time out of you.
Is that the answer, do you think, to the dreaded track limits debate, that we need sort of speed sapping AstroTurf or speed sapping whatever on the outside to not have to worry about track limits?
Yeah, it definitely makes it more entertaining having the slippy AstroTurf.
Maybe Palmer should invest in it. I don't know. It would be a good thing. But it's all we hear about, and like, if I'm keeping records of race results over a season, I literally now have to write everything in pencil because you have so many changes in judicials, which is a bit of a pain. But talking of judicials, I don't think you're likely to be involved any in race 1 for tomorrow morning, but because that was a good clean drive into third place. Jack and Oliver on form ahead of you, but you've got more reverse grid racing to do now in race 2 because you're up the sharp end, so you've got another load of cars to overtake in race 2. Are you enjoying this circuit? Is this one of your favourites?
Yeah, I love this circuit. We've raced around it a few times, so I'm always happier when I already know the circuit before, and I've just got to learn the car around the circuit rather than both at the same time.
What would be the difference between this and maybe what you raced last time? I can't remember what you raced at Imola before, but tell us a bit about the differences.
I think it was probably a GT4 Janetta.
Okay.
It's just braking points and turning, because the characteristics are a little bit different. So you have to brake a bit earlier in this, I think, if I remember rightly from the Janettas. And they had a little bit less understeer, so you could carry a bit more speed through the corners.
Right. Okay. Interesting to know that. I'm going to let you get away because we've got to have a word with Jack and Oliver as well. But I'm going to finish off by saying congratulations, Andy, on your first podium of this evening. Great to chat to you.
Yep, thanks a lot.
Cheers, Andy Dorman, P3. P2 is Jack Smith, our driver of the round. Jack, well done. Good drive through from 12th or thereabouts on the grid. So a decent start to the evening again.
Yeah, not a bad start at all, really. It was about what I'd hoped for. There's a few positions I gained just from, I think, people just spinning out or getting taken out or whatever. So a few freebies in there, but yeah, had a good few battles, nice clean battles, and yeah, made it through. And then just trying to chase Ollie down, but he had the pace in the end to keep me behind. So yeah, it's nice to have Ollie back on the grid as well. It's been 2 rounds now, I think. So yeah, good to have him back, and yeah, hopefully we can have a bit of a team game going through these next few races. It'd be a bit of fun. So yeah, it'd be nice.
Look forward to that. Yeah, that's good. And you got fastest lap in that one, and I think it was actually quicker than the hot lap you did for us as well. 1:48.5 hot lap was 1:48.7. So that's not a bad comparison. How sort of what's a good sort of spread of laps in terms of consistency around here? Would you be, if you were doing a race, and what would you expect your slowest lap to be with a 1:48, a 1:50, 1:51, or are you happy if you've got 48s and 49s?
I think like mid 49s would probably be slower end. Just from my laps and stuff, I think I made a mistake on lapping into 49.4. So it's like, yeah, I don't really know. That's just some people get annoyed by it, but I genuinely try to sort of, do the laps as consistently as I can. And I did some race runs before, and then I stuck nearly every lap in the 48s. So it was yeah, and it's like it's safe as well. It's not like I'm like 110% quality lapping it every lap. I think if I push that a little bit too much around here, some of the curbs, they spit you out quite nastily. So yeah, we've got to tame it back a little bit, but yeah, it's just you get into that zone right in the end. Now I was fully like out of it. I was just in the zone trying to lap as fast as I can, trying to chase Ollie down. So yeah, those low 48s started coming out, and yeah, no, it's good. It's really nice. Yeah, it's a good track. It's not necessarily my favorite, but when you hook it up, it's proper rewarding. So yeah, really.
Well, I'll put you on the spot. What would be your favorite if we did a Jack Smith Championship? What would be the one track that you would want that to be on?
Bathurst, all day long.
Oh, really?
Mount Panorama,
Okay.
mate. Yeah, I love it. It's just something about being so close to the walls, and every single lap you could have a massive crash. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's the adrenaline of it. Even on the sim, you feel like you're gonna crash all the time. So, but yeah, love Mount Panorama. So, if we did a V8 Supercar League, I'd be all over it. All over it.
Well, there you go. There's one for Rich to sort out. Maybe
Yeah,
we do.
sure.
Do you know, I've never really caught up with that. I've never really managed to have the time to follow it properly and get
I'll tell you what,
involved with it. But
if you get the time to watch the recent race over the weekend, they did the Mount Panorama. I think it was the Bathurst 1000 race of the year, 100% race of the year.
I'll have to have a look. I just haven't got any time. I mean, funnily enough, this is like the busiest time of year for me because of launches and scholarships and all that. It's actually busier than most race weekends. But I'll put it on the wish list or watch list for the winter. So I'll have a look at that. Great to have you on the podium again, and good to catch up. And good luck for race 2.
Cheers, Richard.
Thanks, Jack Smith there, Pete. Our race winner. Welcome back to the top step of the podium, and indeed to VRRC to Oliver Gibson. Ollie, how are you?
I'm all better now. I had a bit of fresh as flu past few weeks, or last week and week before that. So
Fresh as flu. Is that because you're away now doing the?
I'm at uni now, yeah. So it's my.
So you're catching all the bugs off all the other people that don't bother to wash or put their hands in front of their mouth when they cough and all that sort of stuff.
Yep, all of that lovely stuff.
We were sorry not to have you here. You know, we have missed you. Did miss you last week. I didn't realise you were poorly, but that's not a good thing to be, especially away from home, is it?
No, but I've got to shout out my mum and my dad because they've looked after me. I did go home on the weekend, not last weekend, weekend before, and they looked after me and got me some antibiotics and all that. So they've looked after me, but I'm all better now. So I'm glad to be back, and it's nice to get a win as well in the first race, albeit starting on pole. But a win's a win, so I'll take it.
Yeah, very, very definitely. There's no such thing as an easy win in VRRC. And so we've kind of got the sort of medical recoveries going on, because obviously Jack had the karting injury which he brought into one of the rounds, and you're recovering from the bout of flu. So hopefully that'll be it for you guys in terms of medical maladies for this series. But yeah, off the front he's done now, and you've got to work your way through from, I think, 12th in the next race.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one. I've obviously got Jack on my right. I think I'm on the he'll be on my right. So it's going to be an interesting one to pick my way through. It's going to be completely different to race 1. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be it's sort of out of the frying pan into the fire, I think, something like that. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope I don't get injured tomorrow because I'm karting tomorrow. So fingers crossed. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, fingers crossed that you're okay, mate.
Yeah.
Well done, Ollie. We're counting down to the race. Only got a minute to go, so I'm going to let you crack on and get set up. But Oliver Gibson, great to have you back. Well done on the win, and good luck for race 2.
Cheers. Thank you.
So that was our podium. Andy Dorman was our first interview, 3rd place. Jack Smith in P2 and Jack's brother Oliver in P1. And we look for race 2. Top 12 reverse, and we've got Jamie Page on pole position. I've got a very pixely screen, which might be like everybody using the bandwidth in the house at the moment. So if I'm breaking up, I apologise for that.
Got the same screen, don't worry, Richard.
Oh, you got the same screen as well, so it might be, it actually looks like it looks like it's raining out there at the moment on my screen. So a wet Imola, if we could have wet racing, that would be another thing that we could throw in the mix. But I suspect Rich Hayden probably doesn't want that at the minute. We should get the timing lights or the starting gantry procedures in just a moment. They are starting to come up very, very slowly. And I hope you're getting better pictures at home than we are here. Lighting sequence is very nearly complete, and we are away and racing, and it is, looking at the screen, Jamie Potter, who gets away sorry, Jamie Potter. I've invented another Potter. I think three are quite enough. It's saying Catherine Potter on the screen, but Jamie Page in pink is there now. Things slightly staggered. I'm guessing they are for Jack Sant's screen as well. His home, but lots of clashes showing up on the timing screen. So Jamie Page is one of the cars that's gone off. We've got an errant blue and white car, which is either Rich Hayden or Lee Pearce. I'm guessing it might be Rich Hayden because Lee's still showing in 5th place. I think the blue, white and yellow car. So things a little bit tricky. Let's refresh my timing screen and see how this goes. But yeah, very definitely suffering at the moment. It's not suffering though, is Paul Laramie, who is out front with Scott Bugner in 2nd position. Paul Laramie's got a huge lead at the moment on lap number 1. We get a quick flash of blue and yellow Napa, which is Connor Potter going through shot as well. But at the moment, the picture's very stilted on our 2nd race. I'm guessing things not much better for you at the moment, Jack.
No, not much. I'm seeing 2 cars in 1 car.
Might see if I can boot my phone up and see if we can get a better link on the phone. But apologies for getting that. Sometimes this is the vagaries of the internet, isn't it, over the course. So everything was fine this morning, and then the company that I work for in the week has a very strong American presence, and as soon as the Americans come online, it just wipes the network out, which is a little bit of a pain. But yeah, it's actually like looking at a wet race and rain being thrown at the screen at the moment. So we'll try and do it from the timing screen, which is updating quite well for me. Paul Laramie actually now showing in P2 with Scott Bugner out front. Jack Smith has got through into 3rd from Lee Pearce, so I think it was Rich Hayden that we lost. Lewis Stannard having a better rub of the green of this one at the moment in 5th place, with Connor Potter in 6th. Hence we saw the Napa car up in the top of the order. Connor, in fact, going ahead of Lewis Stannard, so it's Connor Potter from Lewis Stannard, Andy Dorman 7th from Chris Blakey. We've got the battle going on here. This is the lead battle coming towards us. So Jack Smith up amongst this as well, and Scott Bugner now back showing at the front in the black and gold, black and orange car, call it what you will, as Paul Laramie comes under pressure here from Jack Smith immediately behind him. Connor Potter up at the sharp end of things as well. Nearly a quarter of the way through this one already, coming down to 16 minutes as we ride on board with our 3rd place car at the moment. So Paul Laramie in P2 immediately ahead of us. Got Lee Pearce, you can see in the mirror, the blue and white car getting stuck in. So Lee again at the sharp end. Just depends whether he can hold on to this. He was forced out of the first one, or forced down the order, did recover to get some decent points, but at the moment it looks like Jack Smith is the man vying to become our first double podium of the round as we go outfield once again. So Scott Bugner is our race leader, Paul Laramie in P2, Jack Smith is in 3rd, Lee Pearce there in 4th place in the blue and white car. And Scott Bugner's starting to build a little bit of a lead up here. His 2nd and 3rd start to dice. And Jack Smith will be looking on the inside of Paul Laramie here. Got his nose in front and he makes it through. And so too does Lee Pearce. Pearce grabbing a little bit of that AstroTurf that you heard Andy Dorman talking about. Fascinating to hear about that as the leaders come back towards us. Now, Scott Bugner seems to have lost a little bit of ground to Jack Smith. So Jack closing in. Fastest lap of the race is with Lee Pearce, currently back in 4th place, a 1:50.45. Now remember, the target time from race 1 was around about we had a 1:48.5, I think it was, from Jack Smith, as opposed to his 1:48.7 in practice when he did the hot lap for us. And he was saying that a 1:49.5 would be probably the slowest regular lap that he would expect to do, and that was actually quicker than quite a few of the drivers elsewhere on the field. So it's quite eye-opening to see him doing that one. Picture's starting to settle down a little bit now, which is good. And it's Scott Bugner again having to defend, as he did all the way through race 1, and now Jack Smith's starting to have a look. So Jack Sant, I'll bring you in here. Jack Smith is now doing what Thomas Potter was doing in race 1, nibbling away at the back end of Scott Bugner.
Yes. If hopefully, oh, he's got on the outside line. Might be able to get the switch back on through. If
there's going to be a gap. Yeah, not quite. I mean, we saw Scott soaking up a lot of pressure. Oh, and he's
a
just
little bit of contact.
Yeah, half a gap there, wasn't there? And the championship leader trying to go through, but it's a left hand of the next corner. So that should give it to Scott Bugner, unless Jack Smith can hold it out on the outside. He can't quite do that. Yeah, couldn't quite get the best of the switch back there. You've got to have that circuit knowledge. This is one of the things. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll come back to that because we've still got the lead battle going on. Now Jack's got the inside line, and but has to work again on the outside. Scott Bugner was giving him quite good room there, wasn't he, Jack?
Yes, enough room for work, like movement, but just perfect amount to push both wide and keep it clean.
They did, so fair play to both of them. It must be something about the first name of Jack, because you've got obviously Jack, co-commentator, as well as Jack leading the race, possibly going for his first win here. Does the name give you an extra couple of tenths?
I think I might do, you know, Richard.
Nobody would begrudge that. Either that or go faster stripes on the car. So Jack Smith is our new leader. Scott Bugner in P2 with third place now, Lee Pearcey. For some reason, my iPad timing is not updating. Lewis Stannard's in fourth. Mega stuff from Lewis Stannard here. And again, fingers crossed that we get Lewis in. I know Lee Pearcey won't thank me for this, but hopefully Lee, Lewis, Scott Bugner and Jack Smith can all get involved and have a good scrap as we get on towards the end of the race. Thomas Potter being reported as being in a little bit of contact, I think, with Andy Carroll. Andy was in 8th place, but now Thomas gets ahead of him. Andy repays the favour. They're actually here, so well done to Steve, our director, for picking up on that one. Caden Cook is still with them as well. Caden's having a nice, consistent run of things at the moment as well. Caden is running, keeping up here with two very quick drivers. So Thomas Potter, he was dicing with black and gold last time around, and he's doing the same thing again here with Andy Carroll in the mix as well. So Carroll on the outside run here. I said black and gold, it's blue and gold, isn't it, for Andy Carroll? And Caden Cook in 10th position just behind. This is the race where we don't really worry too much about who's in 12th, but at the moment it's Oliver Gibson, because it's the points that are reversed on this one. The top, all of the points are reversed, so the lesser scoring drivers from the first two races will start off the front for the final. As Thomas, still running in 8th place, Thomas here, but I've got to say, for me, looking a little bit off colour this evening. You'd normally expect to see Thomas Potter up on the sharp end of things, whether his schoolwork's getting in the way of what he should be doing, which is, race practicing. Hopefully we will get a chance to have a chat with him a little bit later on. If he doesn't score well, he could find himself in a decent position for the reverse grid race a little bit later on, but picture clearing up nicely now, which is good to see. Jack Smith out front, Scott Bugner in P2, and Lee Pitt. Oh, Scott has a little bit of a Mr. Whippy there as he came out of the turn ahead of Lee Pearcey, with Lewis Stannard in 4th, Paul Laramie 5th from Andy Dorman and Chris Blakey. For me at the moment, Jack, it looks like Andy Dorman and Jack Smith are going to be the top scorers, and therefore starting right at the back in race 3.
It does look to be heading that way, yes. But Jack's having a consistent race as well, so nice to see him getting out and ahead.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. So is this whetting your appetite for getting into GT4 testing? I mean, I'm not quite sure whether the family budget goes to that, but are you going to be putting pressure on now?
I would love to do a little bit of GT4 testing. Absolutely love it.
How did racing come about for you? Was it a family interest, or
it was through my dad? He used to race motorbikes when he was younger, and then at 3, he was like, he put us in a go-kart to see if I actually liked racing, and then I did like it. I did karting for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Fiestas. But between then, I had like a little period where I had a Mark 6, sorry, red Fiesta.
Yeah, yeah.
I did a bit of rallying and track racing and that, just for a little bit of fun, get myself used to a car, and then I came to the Fiesta Juniors.
Nice one. So your dad knows all about the racing world, albeit from two wheels. And it's nice to get that background. We saw Lewis Stannard playing a little bit of a visit into Lee Piercy, but he backed out of it, to be absolutely fair. So Stannard's still in fourth. And this is great. Three-way battle here for P2, headed by Scott Bugner, Lee Piercy and Lewis Stannard, with a little bit of a gap back to Paul Laramie and then Andy Dorman. And yeah, nice to see all of these quick guys up at the sharp end, dicing it out, playing cat and mouse with each other at the moment. Now, we're just halfway through this one, so this one's settled down reasonably well. Scott Bugner heading this group. Where did he finish? Was it fourth in the first one? Just got to try and... I've still got my Sebring results, believe it or not, on the phone from earlier on when I was catching up on last week's results. So I'm going to have to do that when we get into the break, actually refresh and see where we are now. As Lewis Stannard goes side by side here with Lee Piercy. We've seen how difficult it is to pass around here, but it takes a driver with, determination, and put Lee Piercy under a bit of pressure there, and a little mistake from Lee. And Lewis manages to go through. They were side by side for a couple of corners, but yeah, no disgrace there at all from Lee Piercy. But Lewis Stannard up onto the podium. So it's Smith, Bugner and Stannard, three drivers that you wouldn't actually be surprised to see topping the championship table at any point during the season. Those 1, 2 and 3. Equally, Lee Piercy you'd expect to be up there as well, but Lee's got to try and hold on from the group behind him now, which has got Paul Laramie, Andy Dorman, Chris Blakey. Thomas Potter's, again, I mentioned this, he's a little bit adrift. He's ahead of Andy Carroll and Caden Cook. In fact, Oliver Gibson's now come up ahead of Caden Cook and up into the top 10. So Oliver making a little bit of progress in this one. There is Andy Dorman in 6th position, chasing Paul Laramie, VRRC regulars, as Jack Smith continues. Has Jack Smith got the fastest lap yet? Let's have a check out on that. Yes, he has, a 1:48.845. Go on, Jack.
It's a lot different to see the speed difference compared to the racing and qualifying.
Okay. Or do you mean practice?
Practice, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot. There's a big chunk difference in it, in the top speed.
Oh, okay. Why do you think that? Is that because of the proximity of the other cars, or people finding their own space in the practice?
I think it's just with everyone being around each other and just pushing each other. Just it's getting to them a little bit, and the speeds are just dropping off a noticeable amount.
It's a difficult thing, isn't it? When you're moving from, and this is one of the things, as a young driver like yourself coming into Fiestas, you can probably do solo track time. And you mentioned that you've done a bit of rallying with the Mark 6, and all of that is solo, isn't it? But it must be I don't like the phrase, but I was going to say a game changer, but it's a completely different environment when you get into race mode, isn't it?
Oh, completely different. Within like qualifying, going into Silverstone, I know that quite well. Going into turn 2 at the National, we're doing just over 108, and then once we got the races, we're hitting about 100, 101.
Yeah.
So it was a lot different. With people being around, you're a lot more cautious, but you're a lot more fine with it.
You've got two drivers being cautious here. The two quartered liveries cars, don't very often see them racing together on track, mainly because we lost Chris Blakey due to some issues that he had with his old race car earlier on in the season. But great to see him dicing here with Paul Laramie, looking on the outside as they come through the S's there. Can't quite do it, but a good go by Chris Blakey. Love to see Chris up on actually so many drivers that I'd like to see on the podium. This is only Chris's third event of the season with us. Did the opening round at Spa, had a 5th place, which is the best result of the campaign so far, but always has that distinctive livery. But at the moment, Paul Laramie holding him off very well indeed. Paul, surprisingly, again, a driver that hasn't had a podium so far with us this year, was just off the podium, Paul Laramie, at Spa race 2, the first of our reverse grid races. Let's have a quick check on the race leaders. Still Jack Smith from Scott Bugner with Lewis Stannard in P3. And there is Lewis trying to close down on Scott Bugner. Both of those two. In fact, our top three, Jack Smith should be going circuit racing soon as well. Lewis Stannard looking to continue his run. Raced in the Junior Saloon Championship. One of the Fiesta drivers has just gone off to Junior Saloons, isn't he? But Lewis basically stopped racing that earlier on in the season. Still side by side these two, and it looks as if Chris Blakey might have finally got the job done, because he's got the right-hander coming up and he's on the right-hand side of the track, but ends up going onto the AstroTurf again. And now he's got to work his way around the left-hander, but saw the gap and finds the gap on the inside, which he could make stay here. But look how Thomas Potter is closing in as well. They're still side by side. He did do it. Super stuff by Chris Blakey. Worked for and got. And look at Thomas Potter. Flies down the inside of Paul Laramie. Poor old Paul Laramie got well and truly mugged there, didn't he? 2 places gone in a couple of corners.
Very good positioning from Thomas, but not very lucky for Paul either.
Yeah, it was a shame for Paul. He was working hard, wasn't he, to defend
Yes.
6th position, and then disappears. You know, really good racing though from Chris Blakey. He's got to try and close down on Andy Dorman up front. There is Lewis Stannard in P3. Jack Smith's confirmation of Jack Smith's fastest lap. Again, would love to see a close battle between Jack, Scott and Lewis all together. At the moment, we're going to have to settle for the battle between Lewis Stannard and Scott Bugner. 2 very, very good drivers here, both champions in different disciplines in Virtual Reality Racing Club world. Lewis, our mini champion, of course, and Scott with a fair bit of real world racing under his belt, as Chris Blakey now is looking to have a go at Thomas Potter. So good opportune stuff from Thomas, getting up into 6th place here. And Thomas trying to pull away from Chris Blakey. Scott Ferguson's had an incident a little bit further back. Cat Potter's off the boil in this one, down in 21st. I think we've lost a driver. It looks like Kenny Press is the one that's not in this one, which is a pity. All is okay with Kenny. As we focus on the battle for 7th place, we've got 2 minutes 17 to go, so probably penultimate lap of the race. Thomas Potter's done probably about as far as he can come up the field at the moment with P6. Could put him in a good grid position for race 3, but it's Jack Smith looking for a double podium at the moment. Now, Jack Sant, what I will say to you is, about this stage of the race, sometimes I start to write the top 3 down. If I write it down, usually it's the kiss of death. So do I write it down as Smith, Bugner and Stannard, or do you think we're going to get a change?
I think we might get a change. There's a lot of, the tension builds up at the end of the race. Like when you go through, even from real world experience, when you go through underneath the gantry and you see 2 minutes left, it's just hell for leather. Everyone goes for everything. If there's a gap that shouldn't be a gap, ends up as a gap. So I wouldn't write it down yet, Richard.
I'll take your advice on that. Your advice is duly noted. And as we say that, in fact, a while before that, we've got Lee Piercy coming up and having a good dice here with Lewis Stannard. Piercy goes up the inside and they're side by side. They're very definitely trading door mirrors here. Piercy's got the inside run. A little bit of a clatter between the two. Piercy's off in the barrier. Again, I would probably say 6 to 1, half a dozen of the other on that one. As Andy Dorman in the mixes. Was it Andy Dorman he had the clatter with? Again, Lewis Stannard involved with Andy, who goes round. So Andy moves out. Thomas Potter's going to find himself up in 4th place here. So Thomas Potter, this is the way this pans out sometimes. Smith from Bugner, Stannard in 3rd, and then Thomas Potter now 4th from Chris Blakey and Lee Piercy. Paul Laramie is in 7th, 34 seconds on the clock. Jack Smith is out front. And Jack in the best possible place here, really being out front. 7 seconds clear of Scott Bugner. Again, not necessarily the easiest thing to do. He's got the 1:48.6, so again quicker than his hot lap here. Jack Smith, Scott Bugner's going to be very happy to be out of that squabble that was going on for P2. He was under a fair bit of pressure from Lewis Stannard, to be fair, and Stannard now in 3rd place after coming together with Lee Piercy, who recovered for 6. So Down the hill comes our race leader, 6 seconds on the clock. Now, is he going to make it through? Oh, it's minus 10, isn't it now? So he's going to be checkered flag for Jack Smith, who will pick up another win here at Imola, and it's checkered flag, race winner Jack Smith, with Scott Bugner some 7 seconds down. Here is Scott. So it's going to be black and gold that comes through for P2. Well done, Scott. And it should be Lewis Stannard in 3rd place. Lewis back on the podium, and good points for him. 4th position. Dogged determination, you have to say, earning the 4th place there for Thomas Potter from Chris Blakey. And now I can write the positions down because they are across the line. Obviously, there will be judicials, I dare say, perhaps involving some of them, but that remains to be seen. But our top 3 confirmed for the moment as Jack Smith, Scott Bugner, Lewis Stannard, Thomas Potter 4th, Chris Blakey in 5th from Lee Piercy and Paul Laramie. Andy Carroll was next up from Oliver Gibson and Rich Hayden. Caden Cook in 12th place, followed by Jamie Page, Connor Potter. John Jones is next up. John making his way through from Scott Ferguson. John Wilkie 20th. Cat Potter in 21st. So the last couple of runners just making their way across the line, and that will determine the grid for our final. John Jones just going across the line now. Errant cars, I think, have parked up after the race rather than go back into pit lane. Who can blame them? Whoops. Little bit of a kerfuffle there after the flag, so hopefully no damage done. We'll have a chat with our top 3 in just a couple of moments. Well, so that was an entertaining 20 minutes, as often they are, as usually they are, to be absolutely fair, on VRRC. And let's have a word with our 3rd place driver, Lewis Stannard. Lewis, welcome back to the podium. The opportunity to chat to you again. It's almost a weekly occurrence. I know you'd like it to be very definitely a weekly occurrence, and probably 3 times a meeting, really. But physical stuff. Can I cast the clock back to race 1? What happened in race 1?
Right, so there was 5 minutes to go of practice. It was just after the safety briefing. I've gone downstairs to get a drink, come back up, and my pedals literally like flopped onto the floor. So
no.
on my pedal set, there's like little spaces, and then you can choose what like rubber block you want. So I run the softer one, but then I have it on the control panel harder, so I have to push it further in distance, but it's the same pressure. So that broke. That's literally split in half.
Oh,
So
right.
I've had to change it all out. I don't have the medium one, so I've just gone straight to hard. I didn't have time to set all that up on the control panel for my pedals. So my pedal, I think, was 130 kilos instead of 100. So that was an interesting one. My leg still hurts, but
Quite a
sorted that
percentage
out for the
difference, isn't it?
second one. Yeah, it's massive, especially when you've been driving with that exact specification for 2 years. So obviously not the greatest for the first race. There was a couple incidents. Obviously that one at the chicane, I don't know if it was on the stream, but I was fighting with 2 other people. I was in the middle. The guy behind me's dive bombed me. I've seen it because he was about to hit me, and then I've come off the brake, tried to turn out of it to avoid getting hit, and then I've gone into the back of the guy in front of me. So yeah, I've messaged him, I've made sure I've said sorry, but just I don't know what else to do, to be honest.
No, it's very good that you've done that, mate, and we appreciate you doing that. So, you know, thanks for your honesty and for doing that. It's really good. But yeah, good podium there, and some really good fights going on. We're getting towards the stage of what I was really looking forward to, is seeing the likes of yourself and Jack and Scott all having a a good dice. Hopefully race long before too long, if you can all get through the field. And you were about to have a go at Scott, and then we saw Lee Pearcey sort of get in the mix with you, and he was challenging back as well. And it's fascinating to see like real world drivers like yourself and Lee from different disciplines, obviously different age groups, getting in and having a race. So good for us to watch. I'm guessing you learn from it.
Yeah, 100%. You know, at the end of the day, to me, it's just virtual racing. You know, the minis, obviously it's a real life championship. You know, you want to get yourself known by like the championship itself. So I think it's definitely, I'm not taking it as serious as the minis at all, but you know, it's still racing. You know, I'm not going to join a race and go, oh yeah, I'm not really going to bother trying, because that's
it's
just
a different
not what you
series,
do.
isn't it? It's a different series.
It's completely different in a lot of ways. So it definitely helps real life. Obviously, last year, my first year in cars, the sim helped me a lot to learn how to actually fight and spatial awareness, weight transfer, all of that stuff. So you kind of get like a leg up going into your first season. But now I think I'd use it more for like learning different things for next year and learning car setups on different cars and stuff like that. So it definitely helps 100% for my career, but it's just fun.
That's good. Oh, you'll be having fun in the minis, and you know, guarantee when the mini carnival happens next year at Snetterton, you could well be that middle car again. You know, in the middle of 3 minis going into turn 1 at Snet, and then your mind will go back to VRRC BMWs.
Yeah, exactly. But the one thing I don't like about real drivers is if you can't really race bumper to bumper. Obviously you can, but someone's going to fly off. In front wheel drive, you can just plant it, turn the wheel, and it's back straight again. But no, it's good.
Nice one. Well, great to have you back on the podium, and well done. Thanks for the chat, and good luck for race 3.
Cheers, thank you.
Lewis Stannard in P3. P2 goes to Bugner. Welcome back to the podium, Scott. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. We missed you last week. What was the SP last week?
What was I doing last week? I was stripping the car down. I'm doing a reshow. I was going to do a reshow on the race car, so I was just really busy all week, really, and didn't get back in time.
Oh, okay. Is it a nice to do reshow, or was it a have to do one?
You know what? I started it, and I'm still contemplating doing it. I'm going to get all the panels off the car anyway, and strip it and just see, because it's a long old job, big old job, and I've got body shop that wants the car for 6 weeks and painting it, and it's not going to give me a lot of time, and so I'm still debating it, but I'm sort of 50-50 still at the minute. I haven't quite decided.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a huge job, isn't it? I mean, people talk when you talk to people about teams, that sort of phrase gets, oh yeah, we're going to reshell it, and it seems to be quick, but for you guys doing it, you're not a huge team, are you? So it's a big decision and a hell of a lot of hours.
It is, and I'm on a driveway, so the evenings are getting sort of shorter, and it's getting darker earlier. So some little lights in and bits and bobs.
Yeah, that's proper old school, though, Scott.
I know, yeah. I mean, my dad's gonna. Well, I should think my dad will want to help me as much as he can and stuff. But yeah, it's a monster job. But whatever happens, both cars, well, even my actual race car's got to be stripped down to near bare and rejigged and bits and bobs. So it's going to be a monster job, whatever happens. But I suppose that's part of the fun of it all.
Yeah, I guess so. And talking about the fun, obviously we just had that in that race with. I suppose it was nice to have yourself, Lewis Stannard, and Jack Smith in the top 3 and getting towards. As I was saying to Lewis, it'd be nice to see you 3 all dicing. And Lewis got close a couple of times, but difficult to overtake around here, isn't it?
It is. I mean, to be honest, I didn't think I was going to race today, and then I rang Rich about 4:30 and said I've got to go and fit a diesel fuel filter on a Mercedes Sprinter. I don't think I'm going to be back in time, so I hadn't even downloaded the track, and literally I got in the server as the driver's briefing was in about 10 minutes before race 1, so I downloaded the track, and I'm here. So I'm quite happy that I got a podium out of that. But having us 3 together, I think Lewis is. I've not really raced against Lewis properly, but he's very quick, and obviously we know what Jack's like as well, especially in rear-wheel drive. So I think for me, I'm just bagging points where I can. I don't think I've quite got the pace of them, but it's the points that come well at the end of the year. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And a decent race with Thomas in race 1 as well.
Yeah, he texts me or he messages me every single Tuesday and goes, "I don't like you being in front of me because you're so hard to overtake." I can't
Good.
anyone. I've always been quite good at it without being big-headed. So it's quite nice to put people, and you know, it's nice to race Thomas. You know, he's a young upcoming driver. He's very talented, and you know, it's nice to race, you know, wing mirror to wing mirror and see what happens. So yeah, it's good.
That's good. Yeah, we enjoyed watching you two race. Right, we're running down on time, so I'm going to let you get away for race 3. But great to catch up with you, and I hope we see a lot more of you, Scott, over the course of the championship. Maybe another podium in race 3. That remains to be seen. Good luck, mate, and well done on P2.
Cheers, thank you. Take care.
Thanks for that, Scott Bugner. And we're in a second of the evening with Jack Smith. Well done, Jack. Nice and you know, a close early stages, and you had a lot of work to do to come through from 12th, but again you did it, so well done. Fastest lap as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, it was a quality race. I love racing against Scott. It's always like it's always on the edge, isn't it? It's so fun. So yeah, but me and Scott have got a lot of respect for each other, so it's always close, but it's always fair. So it's yeah, it's proper good racing, and yeah, happy to be racing against him again. So yeah, it was proper nice.
I think once you get in clear track, is it now one of the things I find difficult about racing, and one reason I'm not a driver, is that I can't concentrate precisely as you guys do lap after lap. And is that more difficult when you're out on your own?
Kinda, but you sort of, after a while, you just sort of get into like a flow and a rhythm, and it just sort of comes naturally. You just sort of end up, it's like anything, muscle memory. You just end up doing the same pattern over and over and over again. Obviously, it's different when you're racing because you've got to go offline and stuff like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, you just got to get to a rhythm, and once you get in that rhythm, you can just stick to it, and you're away then. So yeah, we just did that and got on with it. So yeah, it was good.
You got to do it again in the next one. So are you set up and ready? Are you set up?
Yeah, set up and ready, all ready.
That's pretty good. Yeah, we've got about 45 seconds to go. So anyway, we've had a chat earlier on. So Jack, well done. So a 2 and a 1, very good indeed. We'll be getting it in the neck if we give you driver of the round again, but could be a possibility here. We'll see. Good luck for race 3. Well done on the win.
Cheers, Richard.
So that was Jack Smith, and you need to start to think about. So I know Steve, our director, will, and Jack, with using the messaging on Discord, we can sort of ping some ideas as to who might be driver of the round as we look forward to race 3. Scott Ferguson on pole position from Jack Dickerson and John Wilkie. John Jones is next up in the white car. No more time really to call any more because we are about to get underway. Good luck everybody for the final race of the evening here on the Imola circuit. It's a great start from Jack Dickerson in P2, and Scott Ferguson gets away well too. John Jones, all of these drivers, when they get the opportunity to start at the front, normally hang on quite well. There's a little bit of contact further back with Caden Cook, Scott Bugner, Jack Dickerson in the mix as well, and Jamie Page is coming through. We've got a car off. We've got a couple of cars off in the early stages. John Wilkie, the early leader though, from his namesake John Jones in P2. Callum Enstone is third. Jamie Page in P4 at the moment with Andy Carroll. Unusually, I was going to say unusually, we'd expect with Andy's not great scores in races 1 and 2 to be nearer the front, and indeed he is in 5th place at the moment, with Connor Potter, another driver we were saying was a little bit off form, as we get the a spinner, and well, as so often happens here, they clear the first few corners and then we get the big sort out a little bit further on. One driver coming through is Lee Pearcey, who's gone down the inside of Callum Enstone to go up into 3rd place. So Callum down to 4th. Then we've got Alex Walker and Andy Carroll coming in the mix as well. But John Jones out front at the moment. It's a big gap developing behind this group. And more contact there, unfortunately. Alex Walker. Callum Enstone goes around. I was hoping we might see Callum holding a podium position for a little bit longer in this one. So we're going to have to transfer that goodwill to John Jones up front. It'd be great if we could see John maintaining podium here. So it's John Jones from Jamie Page, Lee Pearcey in 3rd. But Jack, to bring you in. Sorry to keep you waiting so long. That was kind of a fairly typical reverse grid start, wasn't it, as Jamie Page goes for the lead?
Sorry. Yes, it was. It's entertaining, but it's not entertaining at the same time. It's entertaining to see there's a lot more competition going into the race 3, but it's not entertaining to see drivers get spun.
Yeah, it's a shame for the guys that are trying to get their points, isn't it? Lee Pearcey up into P2. John Jones is in third. Now, what might be interesting here is that John's away ahead of Andy Carroll. If we get a big pack squabbling over fourth place, this is where the reverse grid can sort of come into play for our drivers that haven't had maybe the best point score so far this evening, but have a good shout of getting decent points here in the reverse. And I'm thinking particularly of John Jones. Oh, and Jamie Page out front as well. I'd love to see John get a podium. I think Jamie's obviously had a win with us before. He won at Bahrain, race 1, before we had the Thomas Potter double. Talk of the devil, there is Thomas Potter putting Paul Laramie under pressure. Now, what's the betting here, Jack Sant, of Thomas Potter getting a podium and a first interview of the evening? He's climbing his way up the order slowly but surely. Makes up another position there on Paul Laramie. Do we reckon Thomas is on for a podium here?
I do reckon Thomas is on for a podium, at least a P3, if not a P2. Might be able to push a P1, but he's got the pace to do it, and he is slowly but surely picking them off. He's got more than enough time with 16 minutes left to do it.
Okay, sorry about that. Just a little technical gremlin there. Okay, I left the mic off. It's not a technical gremlin, it's a Richard gremlin. But we're back. Yeah, one of the things we need to look at as far as Thomas Potter's concerned is he has had the pace over, I think, the drivers ahead of him this evening. Andy Carroll, John Jones, Lee Pearcey. Actually, Lee Pearcey's consistently been quicker than Thomas. So Lee Pearcey could be a difficult one for him to overcome. Andy Carroll will be as well. And then behind him, Paul Laramie and Andy Dorn have been quick. Scott Bugner's in 8th with Oliver Gibson and Chris Blakey in behind as well. So if we're talking Thomas as a potential podium or winner in this one, he's got a lot of work to do. And
yeah.
Go on.
Sorry, Thomas Potter does have the fastest lap with... I can't do the maths. 6 tenths?
Oh, I don't know how far ahead he is, but yeah, he's purple. So yeah, you're right to call that one, as Andy Carroll now starts to have a nibble to try and take away that podium position from John Jones, who's on the inside and defending robustly, I think we can say. And Thomas Potter doing what he did in race 2, picking up the other drivers' problems and slicing through. Last time we saw Thomas do that at the end of race 2, it was 2 positions. He's only got the 1 here because John Jones is putting up a terrific fight out front, but gets turned around. The front of Thomas's car catches him. And again, that'll be a judicial for sure. So Thomas up into 4th place. I'm sure no malice was meant there, but he just maybe had the momentum at the wrong time, perhaps. There's a good argument that someone can take into the clerk of the course's office. I had the momentum, but at the wrong time. There you go, Jack.
I'd love to see how that one goes down.
Who's your clerk on juniors? Who clerks those normally?
I'm not too sure.
Do you have a permanent one? It changes around, I guess, meeting to meeting.
We normally have... I want to say his name's Paul.
Yeah, it's a good thing if you don't know the clerk's name, because it means you haven't been a frequent visitor, isn't it?
Oh, I'm happy that I've never been a frequent visitor.
Here's the battle for the lead. Lee Pearcey round the outside. Oh, and he tries just a little bit too hard round the outside. And Jamie Page will hold on to the lead at the moment. Lee Pearcey will have to try and reel him back in. Thomas Potter in 3rd. Thomas will be probably happy to see Lee losing a little bit of time on Jamie Page. That just goes to show how tricky it is to overtake here. Lee Pearcey has, let me see, has had podiums in every round apart from round 2 this year. He hasn't had a podium yet this evening, so wouldn't be surprised to see him getting another podium here. But also it would be good to see him or Jamie Page stay out front and maybe battle it out for the lead. So both of these guys would be good to see him do it. Jamie has had a win so far this year, so you know, if we were looking for a little bit of variety, maybe it would be good to see Lee take it, as he seemed to be a little bit quicker than Jamie in that early stage as they closed up. So it's Page, Piercy and Potter, the three Ps, 1, 2 and 3, with two Andys next up, Carroll and Dorman, followed by Scott Bugner, who's worked his way through very well indeed. Now, it was interesting, again, going back to a little bit of a theme this evening. We were saying about letting the racing come to you and relax and don't get too stressed about it. And I'd say, Jack, that Scott Bugner was pretty much like that because he only just downloaded the track and came in late. He's not hassling himself and therefore picking up some decent results this evening.
Yeah, that is the main thing. Don't hassle yourself. Don't bite yourself up on anything. Just keep your head clear and just push and pick them off one by one. It's once you get in the rhythm, it's hard to get out the rhythm unless you completely miss your breaking point or turning point.
Oliver Gibson having a look here at Paul Laramie. Down behind them is Jack Smith in 9th. So are we going to see Jack on the podium again? I'm not sure. Maybe we'll see Oliver. He's got some work to do. Not that far behind Thomas Potter. So Thomas Potter just out of shot, back in shot now, ahead of Andy Carroll and Andy Dorman. And Andy Dorman having a look around the outside run here, again braving it out. Andy Carroll being absolutely fair there, really giving him room, giving Andy Dorman room on the outside. So nice stuff from Andy Carroll. You know, good gentlemanly driving, no clatters, and they'll race again. Andy Carroll's going to come back at him now. Down the hill, and Paul Laramie coming under pressure from Oliver Gibson, making good steady progress is Ollie at the moment. Jamie Page still up front from Lee Piercy. Let's have a quick look further down the order, see where some of the other runners are. Lewis Stannard's 12th, Rich Hayden 11th, quiet race 2 for Rich Hayden. Chris Blakey in 10th, Jack Smith next up, Oliver Gibson in 8th ahead of him. Let's see if we've got any messages in terms of who might be driver of the round for this one at the moment. I don't think I've got any messages through at the moment at all. So nobody, yeah, I'll tell you what, it's a close thing, isn't it, really, for driver of the round. Might have to go away and look at some of the other positions that we've had in this one. Paul Laramie's been nice and consistent. Andy Carroll's had troubles, I think, in the first couple of races, which has been difficult. As we get Oliver Gibson trying to work his way back up here and past Paul Laramie. Scott Bugner in 6th place, immediately ahead of them.
Thomas is pulling a solid gap between him and Lee. He's slowly pulling it up.
Yeah, and do you know what? If they battle, this is going to bring him into it again, isn't it? So do you think they'll clash and he'll slide through as he did before?
He could potentially get through. If these two battle, like you said, he would catch, and he just has to just pick a point and put the car there.
Maybe is what he needs. I'll tell you what, Lee Piercy, I think, has had a little bit more pace than Thomas over the course of the 2 races, although it looks to me like Thomas is being a bit more racy in this one in P3 and closing in. The key thing here, well, what we're looking at the moment are the 2 brothers closing up on Paul Laramie. So we've got Oliver Gibson being chased by Jack Smith, who's picking his way through nicely. And every pick of a place for Jack Smith is an extra championship point, which is the key thing. So it's Laramie, Gibson, Smith, Chris Blakey down behind them. Rich Hayden is in 11th place at the moment. The key thing for Lee Piercy, though, is getting past Jamie Page. And now Thomas Potter's right with them. And this is a matter of urgency now for Lee Piercy, because he's got Thomas Potter all over him. And Potter sees a gap down the inside and goes through. Let's hope it's going to be without incident. So it's Potter's go now to challenge for the lead with 8 minutes on the clock remaining. And we've got a lead trio headed by Jamie Page. Thomas Potter very nearly bump drafting him down the straight here. Lee Piercy is now, can maybe relax a bit because he's back in 3rd place. He's got his nose back into P2, and Thomas Potter looking for the gap on the inside now on Jamie Page. A little bit of contact between the pair of them. Potter's got his nose in front, and Lee Piercy trying to work his way through on the inside. Grabs a little bit too much curb there. Andy Dorman's coming up to play as well, but it's Thomas Potter that comes through and into the lead, and already starting to break clear as 2nd and 3rd place fall over each other. A little bit drifting there from Jamie Page as Andy Dorman comes up as well. Goodness me, this is. I was beginning to wonder who we were going to single out as potential drivers of the day. Thomas, with his working his way through the field in this one, might have been one. Andy Dorman's marking himself out as a good, consistent runner for today as well, as is Scott Bugner back in fifth. And there's still plenty of race to go as Lee Pearcey runs a little bit wide again, and Andy Dorman goes through now into third place. So it's Potter, Page and Dorman. Oh, and a big whack on the back end there from Lee Pearcey, inadvertent I'm sure from Lee. Doesn't carry extra momentum through on the inside. I think backed out of that, so he didn't make an advantage out of that. And now Scott Bugner's coming up to play and having a go at Lee Pearcey. And then down behind them, it's Andy Carroll, who's been a little bit off colour this evening, like Thomas Potter in the earlier races. But Thomas is away and down the road here. And the question is, do I get the pencil out and write Thomas Potter in as P1, or is it too soon?
I wouldn't write it just yet, as we've seen how it played out before.
I think you might be right. I tell you what, Scott Bugner's going to be good value for this one as well. He's back in fifth. And there's all sorts of shenanigans going on behind. I think Paul Laramie got caught out there, so there's a little bit of contact on Paul Laramie. Drops out of the top 10. Rich Hayden comes back into the top 10. So it's Jamie Page in P2 looking pretty strong now. And Scott Bugner on the grass. How did that pay out for him? Oh, Scott Bugner! Whether he was carrying extra momentum from the earlier trip on the grass or not, I don't know. I'm unsure as to whose fault that was, but Scott, one of the drivers I was thinking about for driver of the round. So it's Potter, Page and Dorman, 1, 2 and 3. The battle for second looking pretty hot at the moment. Lee Pearcey has to get defensive again, this time from Andy Carroll. Scott looks as if he's trying to get himself contained at the moment. The orange and black car just coming into shot. And now coming under pressure from Oliver Gibson. A little bit of a gap back between Oliver and Jack. So Oliver's got the measure of his brother in this one, as Andy Dorman now takes up the mantle of challenging for P2. 5 minutes on the clock here. If Dorman can get this move done quickly, I reckon he's got the pace here to challenge Thomas Potter. But he needs to get it done, Jack, in the next couple of corners.
As long as I think he's going to get it done in the next couple of corners. As long as he just sticks the nose of the car there, he will have it.
Jamie Page has not been easy to pass on any stretch. One of the stars of our touring car head-to-head series, which ran concurrently with the Mini Championship a few months ago. He still can't quite get past, as we have the recovering Chris Blakey all over the back of Rich Hayden, who's going to have a busy morning's judicials as ever on Wednesday morning. And Chris Blakey having a look at him. Chris has been nice and consistent this evening as well. Lewis Stannard down behind them in 10th place. Nice to hear Lewis enjoying his racing from the interview. And then it is down behind Lewis. So Rich Hayden up ahead of them. Paul Laramie, isn't it, down behind them now? So the reason I was hesitating there is my timing screen updates sometimes and other times doesn't. I'm not quite sure what's going on with it. But Potter and Page still there. Andy Dorman. You see Thomas Potter now getting away, and we've got 4 minutes on the clock. That is a huge gap that Thomas Potter's got now. And if Jamie Page here is having to defend, all of his resources, Jack, are going into defending, aren't they, rather than catching Thomas Potter? Whereas you feel that if Dorman went past, Andy Dorman's energy wouldn't be defending, it would be attacking Thomas.
Yes. If they had... Wait, Richard, did they have indicators?
They're BMWs, so even if they did, they wouldn't use them.
I would like use the indicators to like signal, just work together and push, or just like tap the brake twice to like imply to push.
Yeah,
and just try and catch Thomas.
Unfortunately, as you've probably heard Andy McEwen say on the Fiesta Junior commentary, the drivers never get the email about working with each other. They just race for position. Talking about which, have you actually? You're on your own, aren't you? You don't run with a team, do you? So you have to kind of pick your battles fairly carefully, I guess.
So most of the season I've been by myself. Anglesey I was with BPC, and the one I'd done it, and I was with BPC.
Right. Yep.
But it was nice to have Neil behind us a little bit on Donington, because he was my teammate, and I knew Neil. And I told him with the indicators just to work, and he pushed and worked. But
It does help, doesn't it,
Fans, mate.
having... Yeah, it does help if you've got someone that you can... It just bounce ideas off in the paddock as much as anything else. But yeah, Andy Dorman here has been frustrated at every turn, literally, by Jamie Page, who's doing a super job, Jamie Page, here in P2 at the moment. And this drive could put Jamie in the frame for driver of the round. I've got an idea who I think might be at the moment, but I don't want to say it in case we get a lunge or a disappointment in terms of a bit of contact coming up in the closing stages. So we'll come back to that a little bit later on. We'll see what Director Steve thinks in the chat as well if I open that up as we drop a little bit further back with Chris Blakey coming under pressure from Rich Hayden. Now the battle for P2 is back on, and Andy Dorman looks to the outside, tries to cut back on the inside, but there isn't room there. Jamie Page read that very, very well indeed. So it is still Jamie Page in P2. Very hard earned so far. Quick check on the time. We've only got 2 minutes to go. It's just gone very, very quickly, this race. And even well, you kind of want it to go on a little bit longer so we can watch this battle between Jamie Page and Andy Dorman. Thomas Potter doesn't want it to go on any longer, I don't think. Although he might do, just to maybe think about, you know, how much bigger of a lead can he put in. His best lap 1:48. Fastest lap again is with Jack Smith, 1:48.6. So Jack will get the extra 2 points for that. It's going to extend his championship lead this evening. 1:32 remaining on the clock. Lee Pearcey is closing in again now, the blue and white car, with Andy Carroll in behind. Oliver Gibson not that far adrift of them as well. And Jamie Page looking much happier now in P2. Andy Dorman, I think, might be in the territory where he's starting to think about a podium. Remember, Andy Dorman is 6th in the championship. He's consistently finished ahead of Rich Hayden this evening, so that means that he may well get close to Rich in the championship standings. And Rich himself only 1 point clear of Andy Carroll. So Andy Dorman here could be edging up towards 4th place in the standings behind Smith Bugner and Thomas Potter. And Thomas hasn't scored well in the 2 races that we had earlier on. So Andy Dorman here, if he can get up into P2, this might get him into the top 3 of the championship. I have to do the sums and work out the drop scores as well. But Jamie Page has been superb. But now drawing level with him goes the P3 car, but it's the outside run again. Are they going to give each other room here? Andy Dorman is trying to work his way around the outside. This will be a gift for Lee Pearce, who's going to try and close down on them. Dorman tries to go and have a look on the inside, but hasn't quite got the run to do it. All this battling he's doing is bringing Lee Pearcey into it now, and it's a 3-way fight, Jack, as we get into the dying seconds of this race. 3-way fight for 2nd place.
I'm just watching and trying to figure out how this is unraveling here. Just everyone fighting with each other and just making lunges.
Yeah, Thomas Potter on his last few corners now.
I think we can now name Thomas Potter as the winner for this race.
I can start to pencil it in the result sheet. Thomas Potter's going to grab his first win since Bahrain. He didn't win last time out. First podium interview of the evening incoming for Thomas Potter. Well done, Thomas. 2nd position. What a drive. Super drive by Jamie Page into P2. And Andy Dorman takes 3rd position just ahead of Lee Pearcey. It's a really good battle. Great drive from Thomas to get into the lead and get away. Great stuff from Jamie Page in P2, and also from Andy Dorman. A very consistent evening from Andy Dorman in P3. So that's our podium. 4th goes to Lee Pearcey. Again, another good drive from Lee. He's had a consistent evening. Andy Carroll in 6th. Oliver Gibson 7th from Jack Smith and Chris Blakey. Rich Hayden wraps up the top 10. Scott Bugner 11th after that little clatter and dropped down the order. Caden Cook 12th from Connor Potter. Callum Enstone after an early bit of contact put him out or down into 14th place from John Wilkie and Jack Dickerson. And Cat Potter in 17th. We seem to have lost a few drivers over the course of the evening, which is a great pity, but I trust that they are all well and will be back with us for Road Atlanta next week as Callum Enstone comes across the track now in 14th. I think I called a few of the drivers before they made it across the line, but Callum Enstone does that, and we'll have a word with our top 3 and driver of the round after this break. And so we go on to the podium for the final time this evening. Round 5 of the BMW GT4 Sprint Series with Virtual Reality Racing Club. And our first interview, as ever, as we work our way up the podium, starts with third place Andy Dorman, second of the evening, Andy. And welcome back to the podium again, so we get the second opportunity to talk to you. But added value for this one because we've awarded you driver of the round, so congratulations on that.
Thanks a lot.
Not a bad way to wrap up the evening, and I think the points are showing us you up into 4th place in the championship from 6th. So, you know, we were looking at the maths, we were looking at what you did in the race. Yeah, so well done on that. But that was a tough one, wasn't it? Jamie Page was hard work, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was a really tough one. It was a good race towards the end. I decided to back down because the lads behind were catching quite quickly, and I thought they're going to just swing past both of us together.
Yeah, it was Lee Pearcey I think was heading that group, and Lee's been sort of knocking on the door of the podium all evening. It's actually only the second event this year where he hasn't had a podium, so he'd have been quite happy to nip past. We did wonder whether you at some point you were settling for a podium, but it looked like you kept coming back and having a go at Jamie. The times when you were side by side, you both seemed to give each other room, which was lovely to see.
Yeah, it's always nice when you can respect each other and give each other racing room, because it makes it a lot more enjoyable rather than some off-track excursions and stuff that slow you down and lose your places.
So we're at, I see the circuit is up for Road Atlanta already. Kat Potter, I don't think has had the most enjoyable evening, and she's already got into practice and ready for next week to get herself back up into the top 10. Have you done Road Atlanta before? Are you familiar with that one?
Don't think I am. It might be a steep learning curve for next week, I think.
It looks, just looking at I don't know the track at all, and just looking at the silhouette of it that Kat's going around, it looks like it's a good fast flowing one. I may be wrong when I see the hot lap, but it looks like a fast flowing one. I think Imola flows, doesn't it? But there's a lot of points where it doesn't flow to the extent that if you're sailing, you're not going to get past easily, are you?
No, it's got some really nice fast flowing bits, but then it's got stuff that you need to pull it up on its nose and try and navigate the tight chicanes and things.
What's been the most difficult thing for you this evening, either circuit-wise or maybe either driver-wise as well?
I think the chicane out the back.
Yeah.
That's really tricky. You can lose so much speed on the way in and time. And if you try and go a little bit fast, you end up on the AstroTurf on the way out. That's caught me out umpteen times tonight, I think.
And what's on the agenda for this weekend? Are you sort of out in the real world carring at all?
No, the drag racing season's pretty much finished now. We've not got many plans as yet. We'll be pulling one of the Civics in bits, I would think, ready for next season already.
That's a workshop time now.
Yeah, try to plan and how we can make it last more than about 30 seconds. Because that's the problem with the drag cars, is the engines are measured in seconds rather than hours.
Wow, yeah, that's a thought, isn't it? That's a thought. Okay, well, that's really good. But a great evening. Good to get to catch up with you twice. And well done on drive of the round, Andy. And see if you can do it again next week.
Yep, brilliant. I'll give it a good go. Thanks a lot.
Good lad. Thanks a lot, Andy, and very well done. That's Andy Dorman, driver of the round, 3rd position. I don't know whether we've got a mic for Jamie Page.
No, we don't.
We don't have. So, Jamie Page, we'll just say very well done. Congratulations. Super drive, particularly in race 3. Well done, Jamie. And a great battle with Andy Dorman. Thoroughly enjoyed watching you do that. Rich Hayden's here, so we'll ask a question. You obviously don't get to see what goes on, Rich, in those, but
No, not till tomorrow morning.
I don't think you'll be watching too much of Jamie Page in race 3 because he was clear of all the trouble, and nice clean stuff with Andy, our driver of the round.
Yeah, Jamie sent me a message just now, just saying he really enjoyed the defending that was going on. So yeah, looks like he had a good race.
Yeah, it was really, really good. It's going to be a busy Wednesday again, so we'll get the view from the clock. So Jack Sant obviously joined us in the comms. Thank you, Jack, for doing that. When I quizzed Jack on the clerk of the course's name for the Fiesta Juniors, he wasn't sure. And that's a good sign, isn't it? Because he hasn't been there too much to get to know him.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
I was up there last time at Donington though because of a little incident in turn 1, but
They're always little incidents, Jack, aren't they?
just a little incident.
Yeah, I can't remember what the line I came out with, but I think I gave him a line earlier on about, was it about carrying momentum in the wrong place or something?
Yes, carrying momentum, but in the wrong place.
But yeah, there's one for you. There's a few drivers that do gaslight the officials up and down the country. But,
I get that too.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Let's go on to our winner. It's funny how this has worked out. It's not scripted. It's funny how it's worked out, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But first of all, say congratulations on the win, Thomas Potter. But the evening up to that point hadn't really gone your way. What's been the story?
Look, I'm probably about 2-1 both times. On the exit of the chicane, I gained loads of places. Then I picked the wrong line to go in when going for even more. But then I guess race 3 I managed to just hook it all together.
It was a good drive in that last one, and you know how timely. I don't know if you saw what was going on behind, but getting past Jamie as you did was probably key because Andy's had a good points haul. He's moved up into 4th in the table. You've moved back into 2nd, so you just got past Scott. We didn't know where to go for driver of the round. I think we picked the right one with Andy Dorman at the end of the day. But you know, you were in the frame a little bit for your final drive because it was very well timed and worked well. Scott Bugner was consistent, considering he hadn't, in his interview, was telling us he hadn't downloaded the track. So that had gone well. But yeah, really well timed drive. So you must be very happy. What was the story with Kat tonight? I'm sorry to talk about other drivers, but Kat didn't seem on it today, which was a pity.
It's alright, and yeah, I'm not really sure what happened. I think she was having a few issues about. I'm not really 100% sure. I mean, she had pace around this track as well, so it's pretty good. But actually, I think she's very close to Jamie Page in the championship now, which is pretty good. I think it could have probably been more of her way in the championship if she actually did a better finish. But I'm not too sure what happened there.
Yeah, she's 12th, so she gets pole for race 1 next week.
Oh wow, there you go, no pressure. The thing with Kat now is we know that she can be battling for a podium, you know, because she's had a 4th position, so can you know, potential winner, definitely a potential podium, which is good. Coming back to you though, Thomas, this weekend for me, I'm travelling up to Brighton and we've got the Ginetta Scholarship. So this weekend I'm going to find out who one of your competitors is going to be in Ginetta Juniors next year and who it is that gets a free drive for the year. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. My dad's got some other dates to fill in for over the weekend. I mean, just had an amazing test day on yesterday actually, which only Monday I've been looking forward to this whole year so far, which was pretty good. Huge thanks to MDD and YouFab for helping sort of that out. It's such an amazing day that was. But unfortunately, not going to be at the scholarship. Although, is it getting live streamed?
No, it's not a thing that you'd really want to live stream because obviously we've got data protection and young people protection and stuff like that. So it's a very difficult thing logistically to film because you'd have to get waivers signed and all that sort of stuff. So, and I think the young people that come along are under enough pressure without having cameras pointing at them all the way through it. So it's not something we stream. It's behind closed doors, and I think that's quite a nice selling point actually for it, that drivers that enter it, you know, will know that it is all behind closed doors. I had someone ask me at the weekend whether they could come and watch, and you know, we can have the odd person coming to watch. That's not a problem. But you know, if lots of people started turning up, then the Blighton staff would actually turn people away. So I think, you know, we've got a couple of people coming that want to enter next year, and want to see what it's about and see what the car racing world's like. So, but no, to answer your question, it's not streamed. It would put the young people under too much pressure. But it is a great event. It's a good event, I think, to take part in, and certainly I love it. I can't wait to get up there and meet everybody and you know, get stuck into seeing who the next generation of Ginetta drivers are going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can see why it's not streamed now. You've just mentioned Matt, but it's going to be probably an amazing event for you to go there, and obviously, well, everyone else there. So I'm kind of unfortunate I can't go yet again. Fortunate for all the stuff my dad and Stephen Gillion's been doing behind the scenes with Kate and well, MDD and other companies involved getting stuff and sorted for that. So unfortunate but fortunate at the same time, I guess I am today.
Yeah. Did you? So that was your first. Was that actually a test in the junior? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a test in my junior. Unfortunately, it wasn't at Croft, which was planned, as I didn't actually have my odds. I'm pretty sure I'm getting that in 2 weeks' time. So if the dates were the other way around, I would have been at Croft for it. But
so where did you do it? Was it Blighton or?
No, down at Teesside, because it's my local track and MDD's local. And it's probably more of a busy track than Teesside is on the actual driving side, where you've got to do a lot more turns and stuff like that. Probably benefiting me more anyway. So overall, even well, better.
I think the old-fashioned term for what you did was a shakedown. Probably it was, you know, getting familiar with the car and getting some seat time. So yeah, that sounds like it was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. It most definitely was. Overall, I think it did affect me today, as I've been driving this car like a Ginetta instead of like a GT4, which was never the best.
That's the thing now, isn't it? You know, not everything in Thomas Potter world is sim now, is it? It's, you know, you've got to switch between real world car testing and then getting back on the sim in different types of vehicle.
Yeah. Although I do have a question, Jack. Are you doing Fiestas next year as well?
No, well, not Fiesta Juniors. I'm doing Fiesta ST240s.
Ah, okay, because I was going to say my friend Thomas Harper's actually going in Fiesta Juniors, so if you do see him, please tell him I said hi.
I will do, no problem. I will do a run alongside the juniors. So
is he? So it's another. Does it say Thomas Harper?
Yeah.
Is he doing the Fiesta scholarship?
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. I think he's already got his car and he's already been doing some testing down at Brighton. But
right. You can still enter. I think there's only 3 places left for the VRRC scholarship. So, you know, he could possibly get a funded drive. If he's got his car already, it doesn't matter. You can still win the scholarship. You know, if you've got your own car, that's not a problem. Same as the Ginetta one. So tell him to, if he wants a great day out, you know, come and join us. That's a fortnight. So fortnight. I'm doing plugs here. She's advertising for them, isn't it? I shouldn't be doing that. But both the Ginetta one and the Fiesta one, they're really great events. I do know we've got a couple of drivers doing both. And Jack, you were telling me about the Fiesta driver that failed at the Fiesta scholarship and then did it the other way around. Failed at the Ginetta one and won the Fiesta one, didn't he, earlier on?
Yes.
You can name check him and wind him up if you like.
Well, yeah. To be fair, I love to get the bits. Lewis, he's mid, but I do wind him up a lot.
That's fair. Yeah, Lewis Island, who won was very good to win the Fiesta one, but had taken part in the Ginetta one. They are both really very, very tough competitions, and it sounds corny, but you know, everybody that enters is a winner. I know people say that on TV reality shows, and it sounds hollow when people say it, but genuinely, everybody that comes to these events that I've met are wonderful people. Just the fact that they want to be a part of the paddock and the way they present themselves is really good. So we're looking forward to that one. I'll say, Ginetta. Go on, mate.
I like the fitness side that you do with it as well. Like with the fitness side, you get a bit about what you're gonna do, like behind the scenes. And then you got the camera side, which is nice to get you prepared for media side. And you got the driving side for driving side.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complete day, isn't it? The one thing I will say is that the VRSCC one is a little bit softer. It's not a softer competition to win, but the fitness and the media interviews are a little bit more forgiving. I think we interview a little bit harder at the Ginetta ones, and I think the physical fitness is harder at the Ginetta one as well. That's not a bad thing because it means that the people coming along get a different experience. So if you are on both scholarships, you get a different approach. So like the guy that runs the fitness on the Ginetta one is a complete psycho, basically. And you know, that doesn't have to be cut out of a broadcast. He knows that I call him that, and he's cool with that. Yeah, well, he's an army guy, and he's absolute mad as a hatter, totally unpolitically correct, and
You'll
everything
enjoy
else.
being called a madman then.
No, he's a lovely bloke, absolute, you know, legend to me. And let me put it this way, with the Ginetta one, if you did the physical fitness test and you pushed yourself so hard that you vomited at the end of it, he'd give you extra points for that.
Brilliant.
Whereas the
all you want,
VRRC,
like?
the VRRC, the Fiesta one is a little bit more forgiving, and they're more about coming up with fitness programs for you and thinking it through. And I love the fact that you've got the two different things. So even though you're going to the scholarship, and you know the format is kind of similar, you know, fitness, media, and car, but the cars are totally different. The approach to the media interviews is slightly different, and the fitness approach is different as well. So even if you come to both, you get value out of both, I think, which is a good thing. But anyway, enough wittering from me. Thomas, have a good weekend. Well done on the final win. It was a great race, and we'll look forward to catching up with you next week. I said that Kat was already getting stuck into Road Atlanta for next week when we'll be back with Becky. So we better let you get away and get on the sim for next week as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, and again, thanks to you guys as commentators, and Steve for broadcasting, Rich Hayden for hosting once again an amazing event.
Top man, love all the thank yous. What a professional you are. Well done, Thomas. Congratulations again, and we'll catch up with you. That is it for our broadcast this evening. Yeah, thank you, Steve. I'm going to echo the thank yous that Thomas did. Jack Sant, lovely to have you working, and we've got you lined up for another one. Have you enjoyed it?
I have very much. Thank you very much.
Excellent, and you know, the more we do it, the more chatty we'll get, and the more fun we'll have as we go on. We do have you back later in the campaign with Jack Oliphant, which we look forward to, and I look forward to working with you again on another championship. But thanks, Steve Allen. Thanks for watching. If you're still with us, that's very good of you. Road Atlanta next week. You know the score now at the end of the week. Be nice to yourselves. Have a great week. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Between the two of them,
The inside of coats.
Parker gets too heavy involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.